Do you know what really separates a confident, mature woman who captures the heart of a younger man from the one he ends up seeing only as a mother figure? It is not what most people assume. It is not about her age. It is not about her appearance. It is not about money, success, or social status. It comes down to something much more subtle, something many women unintentionally misunderstand. If you have ever felt a genuine connection with a younger man only to notice that the atmosphere changed the moment your age became part of the conversation, or if you have ever felt the need to justify yourself or work extra hard because of the age difference, what you are about to hear may completely change the way you see these relationships. The truth goes against much of the advice people usually give. After looking closely at many real situations and studying what actually helps these relationships succeed, one pattern became impossible to ignore. The women who create lasting, meaningful relationships with younger men are usually not following popular dating advice. In many cases, they are doing the complete opposite, and once you notice the difference, you cannot ignore it anymore. Suddenly, it becomes clear why some relationships naturally grow into deep and loving partnerships, while others slowly become uncomfortable memories. Stay with me, because one small shift in behavior can completely change how a younger man experiences your presence, and the reason may surprise you. The truth is that there is one specific pattern that quietly pushes younger men away, and it has almost nothing to do with the number of birthdays you have celebrated. It is about the silent messages many women send without even realizing it. These messages quietly communicate insecurity. They reveal a hidden need for approval. Sometimes they even suggest that she feels she must prove her value before she can simply enjoy the connection. Before you think this is another conversation about dressing younger, changing your style, or pretending to be someone you are not, pause for a moment. That is not what creates real attraction. The women who build strong relationships with younger men are not trying to imitate youth. Instead, they offer something completely different. They bring qualities that only experience can develop. They carry emotional steadiness, self-awareness, confidence, and peace with who they are. Those qualities cannot be copied. Imagine this for a moment. You are a 45-year-old woman. Perhaps you spent years building a family, raising children, or focusing on responsibilities, and now life finally gives you space to focus on yourself again. Then one evening you meet a 32-year-old man at a dinner gathering. The conversation flows naturally. The chemistry feels unexpected but undeniable. Everything seems effortless until the topic of age appears. Suddenly the energy feels different. He remains polite and interested, yet the excitement begins to fade. What really changed? Keep watching, because the answer is often far different from what people expect. In many situations, the age difference is not what weakens the attraction. The real change begins when the woman suddenly becomes overly aware of it herself. She may laugh about being older before anyone else says a word. She may start making comments that draw unnecessary attention to the age gap. Sometimes she slips into a protective role without noticing it. Other times she begins trying to impress him by listing her achievements, explaining how successful she is, or proving how capable she has become over the years. All of these reactions come from the same place. They are attempts to manage the age difference instead of simply allowing the relationship to develop naturally. One of the biggest mistakes many mature women unintentionally make is caring for a younger man in a parental way rather than as an equal romantic partner. They offer advice that was never requested. They step in to solve problems he is fully capable of handling himself. They worry about situations that he is comfortable facing on his own. It feels loving, it feels supportive, but the emotional message is very different from what they intend. If this sounds familiar, pay close attention to what comes next, because this small habit can quietly reshape the entire relationship before either person even realizes it. The moment a woman begins treating a younger man like someone who constantly needs guidance, she slowly invites him into the role of a son instead of a partner. Attraction rarely grows in that environment. A younger man who is genuinely interested in an older woman is not searching for another parent. He already has one. What attracts him is someone who stands beside him, not above him. He wants a woman who sees him as a capable adult, someone who shares experiences with him instead of managing his life. Think about it from his perspective. Would you feel deeply attracted to someone who constantly assumed you needed protecting, correcting, or rescuing? Probably not. Real attraction grows where there is mutual respect. It grows when both people feel seen, trusted, and appreciated as equals. That sense of equality creates emotional safety, excitement, and admiration at the same time. It allows both people to bring their strengths into the relationship without feeling judged or controlled. This is where many age gap relationships quietly succeed while others slowly lose their spark. And the difference often comes down to behavior rather than age itself. Imagine a woman in her early 50s who spent 25 years married before rebuilding her life after divorce. A couple of years later, she decides to start dating again and unexpectedly meets a man in his mid-30s. From the very beginning, their conversations feel easy, genuine, and exciting. They laugh together, they enjoy each other's company. The connection feels natural, but as time passes, small habits begin changing the emotional dynamic. Whenever he talks about a difficult day at work, she immediately starts offering solutions instead of simply listening. When he shares a challenge, she feels responsible for helping him fix it before he even asks. Her intentions are kind, but little by little the relationship starts feeling less like a romance and more like a mentoring relationship. Without realizing it, she replaces curiosity with instruction and partnership with guidance. Over time, the emotional balance begins to shift. What once felt exciting now feels predictable. This is why emotional equality matters so much. It allows attraction to remain alive because both people continue discovering each other instead of one person constantly leading while the other follows. And there is one more subtle behavior that quietly changes everything, one that most people never notice until it is already affecting the relationship. Whenever he wanted to do something on the spur of the moment, she quickly pointed out everything that could go wrong and suggested a safer choice instead. Whenever he opened up about his feelings or struggles, she answered with lessons from her own past, rather than simply listening. Her intentions were kind. She truly wanted to help, but she never realized that he was not searching for a teacher. He was not asking for someone to direct his life. He wanted a partner who would walk beside him, not someone who would constantly lead the way. This becomes even more noticeable when a woman begins trying to control the direction of the relationship itself. Some believe that because they have more life experience, they should naturally guide every step, predict every challenge, decide what happens next, and organize everything before it unfolds. It sounds responsible, it even feels loving, but in reality, it slowly takes the excitement out of the connection. Love does not grow stronger through control. It grows stronger through shared experiences. It needs room to breathe. It needs moments that no one can predict. Stay with me, because this next point explains why some relationships keep their spark for years, while others quietly lose it without either person understanding why. What keeps attraction alive is not perfect planning. It is curiosity. It is surprise. It is the excitement of discovering each other one moment at a time. A younger man is often drawn to a mature woman because of her calm confidence, but he also wants to experience life with her, not simply follow a carefully prepared path. He wants to see who she becomes when everything is not controlled. But if every dinner is already planned, every conversation already decided, and every adventure already analyzed before it begins, where is the excitement? Where is the sense of discovery? Imagine this for a moment. Every time he suggests trying something different, you immediately explain why it may not work. Every time he decides to take a chance, you have already listed all the possible risks. Every time he wants to take the lead, you are already several steps ahead with a complete plan. That is not romance. It may come from care, but it slowly begins to feel like a prison with comfortable walls. Attraction needs freedom. It needs moments where both people can laugh, make mistakes, and create memories together without feeling that every outcome has already been decided. Keep watching, because another quiet habit often changes everything. There is another mistake many mature women make without realizing it. They become uncomfortable when the topic of age appears. When a younger man politely asks how old they are, they hesitate. They laugh nervously. They avoid giving a direct answer. Sometimes they even make negative comments about themselves before anyone else has the chance. Think about the message that sends. It quietly suggests that age is something embarrassing, something to hide, something that lowers their value. But confidence tells a completely different story. A woman who accepts her age without apology creates a powerful impression. She speaks about her years with calm pride because she knows they shaped her into the person she is today. That quiet confidence becomes far more attractive than trying to erase the past. Imagine sitting across from someone during dinner. He asks your age with simple curiosity. You smile naturally and say, "I'm 43. And every year has taught me something valuable." There is no awkward pause, no excuse, no attempt to appear younger, just honesty. In that moment, his attention is no longer on the number. It shifts toward your confidence, your comfort with yourself, and the peaceful energy you bring into the room. That is often what people remember long after the conversation ends. There is another habit that deserves attention. Many women become deeply focused on looking younger at any cost. There is absolutely nothing wrong with taking care of yourself, staying healthy, dressing well, or enjoying fashion. Feeling good about yourself is important. But the moment self-care becomes a desperate attempt to compete with women 20 years younger, the energy begins to change. A younger man usually notices when someone is trying too hard to become a different version of herself. Ironically, that effort often hides the very qualities that first attracted him. He was not drawn to the idea of someone pretending to be 20 again. He noticed your calm presence, your confidence, your life experience, your emotional stability. Those qualities stand out because they are real. When someone hides them behind an image that does not feel authentic, the connection often loses its natural warmth. Real confidence never needs to compete, it simply exists. And that quiet authenticity usually leaves a much stronger impression than any attempt to chase youth ever could. There is one final point that many people overlook, and it may be the most important one of all. Imagine a woman in her late 40s who spends a great deal of money changing her appearance because she believes that looking much younger is the only way to attract a younger man. She updates her wardrobe, changes her style, and constantly worries about every tiny detail of how she looks. Then she meets a man in his 30s. She expects all of that effort to create instant attraction. He is polite, he is respectful, yet something still feels missing. Later, she begins to understand what happened. In trying so hard to become someone else, she slowly hid the qualities that made her unique in the first place. Her warmth became covered by anxiety. Her natural confidence was replaced by constant self-monitoring. Her genuine personality became harder to see. The same pattern appears in another area as well. Many successful women feel they must impress a younger man by talking about everything they have achieved. There is nothing wrong with being accomplished, independent, or successful. Those are wonderful qualities. But if achievements become the only part of yourself that you share, the relationship can begin to feel like an interview instead of a connection. People may admire success, but they usually fall in love with honesty, warmth, shared laughter, emotional openness, and the feeling that they truly know the person sitting across from them. And the next insight may completely change the way you think about attraction in relationships with an age difference. If most of your conversations revolve around your career, your travels, your investments, or everything you have achieved, you may be leading with your accomplishments instead of your heart. There is nothing wrong with being successful. It deserves respect. But respect alone does not always create romance. A younger man wants to experience something when he is with you. He wants conversations that make him smile. He wants moments that feel natural, exciting, and memorable. He wants to laugh with you, explore new places with you, and feel emotionally connected. He does not want every meeting to feel like a presentation of qualifications. If you constantly emphasize your financial security or everything you own, pause for a moment and ask yourself what message you are sending. Are you quietly suggesting that your value depends on your achievements instead of your personality? Are you inviting him to admire your lifestyle instead of truly knowing you? The strongest connections are rarely built on impressive resumes. They grow from shared emotions, simple conversations, and genuine curiosity about each other. Stay with me, because another habit often appears loving on the surface, yet slowly weakens attraction without anyone noticing it. Another quiet mistake is becoming available every single moment, replying to every message within seconds, rearranging your entire schedule whenever he asks to meet, saying yes to everything without taking time to think, offering endless compliments, constant reassurance, and non-stop attention. It may feel like you are showing love, but what he may actually experience is pressure instead of freedom. Attraction becomes stronger when both people continue living full and meaningful lives outside the relationship. The woman who keeps her own rhythm, enjoys her own hobbies, values her own time, and protects her own happiness naturally becomes more attractive. Not because she is pretending to be difficult, not because she is playing games, but because she already has a complete life. She chooses to share it instead of depending on someone else to complete it. Imagine if every time he called, you immediately dropped everything else. Every time he suggested a plan, you instantly agreed without expressing your own preferences. Every conversation became focused on making him feel good while forgetting your own voice. Over time, what is left for him to discover? Where is the excitement of learning new sides of your personality? Healthy attraction grows when both people continue bringing fresh energy into the relationship instead of one person constantly giving while the other only receives. The next point may be one of the most overlooked reasons why chemistry slowly disappears. There is another quiet pattern many mature women fall into without realizing it. They begin taking life so seriously that they slowly disconnect from their playful side. They believe respect can only be earned by always appearing calm, logical, perfectly composed, and completely in control. Little by little, they stop laughing freely. They stop teasing in a light-hearted way. They stop enjoying simple moments without worrying how they appear. But ask yourself this: what is a younger man often looking for when he feels attracted to a mature woman? Usually it is not more seriousness. His daily life already brings enough pressure through work, responsibilities, family expectations, and personal goals. What often draws him toward her is something much lighter, a woman who laughs without forcing it, someone who enjoys small adventures, someone who brings warmth, confidence, and emotional peace into the room. That combination is rare. It creates a feeling that is difficult to describe but easy to notice. It is not about acting younger. It is about remaining alive, curious, and joyful regardless of age. That quiet confidence mixed with genuine playfulness creates a presence that many people naturally remember. Keep watching, because one simple story brings this idea into focus. Picture a woman in her early 50s who, after her divorce, slowly built a life centered on responsibility and complete self-control. She believed that to earn respect as a professional and as a single parent, she always had to appear serious, organized, and emotionally reserved. Then she met a man in his mid-30s. Their first conversations were respectful, their dates were pleasant, yet something always felt missing. She discussed important topics, shared thoughtful opinions, and spoke confidently about life. But there was very little laughter, very little relaxed energy. Everything felt correct, yet nothing felt exciting. The atmosphere became more like a formal meeting than two people discovering each other. Eventually, she realized she had hidden one of the most attractive parts of herself behind a wall of seriousness. The warmth was still there. The humor was still there. She had simply stopped allowing anyone to see it. The moment she became more relaxed, more spontaneous, and more emotionally present, the connection began feeling completely different. That small shift changed everything without changing who she truly was. And there is one more mistake that quietly damages many promising relationships before they even have the chance to grow. Some women believe they must appear emotionally distant so they do not seem vulnerable. They think acting uninterested will make them appear stronger or more attractive. They hold back their feelings, avoid showing excitement, and create distance because they fear looking too invested. But pretending not to care rarely creates mystery. More often, it creates emotional coldness. The other person does not experience confidence. They experience disconnection. Real maturity is not about hiding your emotions. It is about expressing them honestly without becoming dependent on the outcome. It means showing warmth without chasing, caring without controlling, being open without losing yourself. That emotional balance is one of the greatest strengths a mature woman can offer. Many younger men, especially those who are tired of shallow interactions, find genuine emotional depth deeply attractive because it feels authentic. So what causes many of these self-defeating habits? At the center of them is one belief that quietly shapes everything, the idea that age is somehow a weakness that must be hidden, explained, or compensated for. Once that belief takes hold, fear begins making the decisions. A woman may try too hard to prove her value, manage every interaction, or accept less than she deserves simply because she believes she should be grateful for attention. But the truth is much simpler. Your age is not a problem waiting to be fixed. It is not something to apologize for. It is simply one part of your story, and when you accept it with quiet confidence, you allow the best parts of yourself to shine without effort. When you stop resisting your age and begin accepting it with confidence, it can become one of your greatest strengths. A younger man who is sincerely attracted to a mature woman is usually not asking her to pretend she is younger. He is often interested in the very qualities that naturally come with experience. He notices emotional depth. He appreciates calm confidence. He values the perspective that only comes from living through different seasons of life. What attracts him is not perfection, it is authenticity. He is drawn to someone who has seen joy and disappointment, who has faced challenges, learned from them, and still chooses to approach life with hope. So take a moment and ask yourself a different question. Instead of wondering how you can compete with younger women, ask what you bring that life itself has given you. Perhaps it is wisdom that only comes after making difficult decisions. Perhaps it is emotional balance built through overcoming hard moments. Perhaps it is the freedom that appears when you no longer feel the need to become someone else's idea of perfect. Stay with me, because this quiet shift in thinking changes everything, and most people never notice it until much later. The greatest gift of maturity is not the number of years you have lived. It is how those years have shaped you. Every challenge, every success, every heartbreak, every fresh beginning leaves behind something valuable if you allow it to. That is why the women who build strong relationships with younger men rarely spend their time trying to impress anyone. They are not chasing attention. They are not acting out a role. They are not trying to imitate youth. Instead, they stand comfortably in their own identity and invite others to experience the real person behind the smile. They do not apologize for their past. They speak about it with honesty because those experiences helped create the person they are today. They do not treat their age as something embarrassing. They see it as proof of growth, resilience, and personal strength. That quiet confidence speaks louder than any attempt to appear younger ever could, and here is something worth remembering. People are often inspired not by perfect lives, but by honest ones. The next story shows exactly what that looks like in real life. Picture a woman in her mid-40s who spent years raising 2 children on her own while rebuilding her life after a difficult divorce. Eventually, she met a younger man in his early 30s. From the beginning, she never tried to hide the difficult chapters of her life. She also did not use them to gain sympathy or admiration. She simply shared them naturally as their conversations became deeper. She spoke about sleepless nights caring for her children. She talked about what heartbreak had taught her. She explained how she slowly rebuilt her confidence after life forced her to begin again. What captured his attention was not the hardship itself. It was the strength that grew from it. He admired the calm way she spoke about painful experiences without bitterness. He noticed that her confidence came from real life rather than appearances. That honesty created trust. It created emotional closeness. He was not looking for someone who fit a perfect image. He was discovering someone who felt real. Keep watching, because this next idea may completely change the way you think about attraction and emotional connection. A younger man who genuinely falls for a mature woman is often searching for something completely different from what people assume. He is not necessarily looking for someone who matches a certain picture in his mind. He is often drawn toward a woman who already feels complete within herself. Someone who is not waiting for another person to give her confidence or purpose. Someone who makes decisions from self-respect instead of seeking approval. That kind of presence cannot be forced. It quietly fills the room without asking for attention. The moment you begin trying to convince someone of your value, your energy changes. But when you simply live according to your values, people naturally begin to notice. Real attraction grows from authenticity, not performance. There is something deeply refreshing about meeting someone who is comfortable being exactly who they are. In a world where so many people feel pressure to perform, pretend, or constantly impress others, genuine honesty stands out immediately. It creates comfort. It creates curiosity. It creates the feeling that someone is finally being seen without masks or expectations. Imagine walking into a room and meeting a woman who is completely comfortable with herself. She is not trying to become someone else. She is not searching for approval. She is simply present. She laughs naturally. She listens with interest. She speaks honestly without trying to impress anyone. That kind of confidence has a calming effect on the people around her. Ironically, the mature women who often attract younger men most easily are usually not focused on attracting anyone at all. They are busy building meaningful lives. They invest time in hobbies they enjoy. They travel when they can. They create, learn, grow, spend time with friends, and appreciate peaceful moments alone. Their happiness is not dependent on another person. Because of that, every relationship becomes a choice rather than a necessity. That sense of completeness is deeply attractive because it removes pressure from the connection. Instead of asking someone to fill an empty space, they invite them into a life that already feels meaningful. That quiet confidence is difficult to copy because it comes from genuine self-acceptance rather than appearance. When a mature woman truly accepts her journey, appreciates where she stands today, and looks toward the future with hope instead of regret, her entire presence begins to change.